Welcome to Unscripted, the Michigan State basketball podcast on the Field of 68 Media Network presented by BetRivers. If you're watching this, listening to this for the first time and you recognize us, I say, welcome back. Thank you. We love you, and we're excited to grow the Sleepers brand and do a little more. If you don't recognize us and you're like, who are these two idiots that just got offered a Michigan State basketball podcast? Well, we're about to explain that to you, and that's why I'm throwing the mic to my good friend Carter Elliott.
Hey, you know what, Greg? If you would have asked me a couple months ago if I'd be doing this, I probably would have spit on you for lying to me. But we are here. We are the official host of the Unscripted Michigan State podcast on the Field of 68 Network. It's still crazy to say, but I'm so excited, and I'm excited just to do this with my boy G. We've been doing this podcasting thing for a little bit, and we got a little talent with the mic, so we're here to provide that to the people.
And Carter, if I asked you what 3 words do you associate with the words Greg Waddell, what would those 3 words be?
Petty, gambler, basketball junkie.
Well, that's 4 words, first of all, but it wouldn't be Michigan State basketball, because all of a sudden Michigan State basketball is going to pop up when you see the name Greg Waddell. I think people might be surprised.
There's no point of even explaining what it is. It's just he has a Spartan hat on. He went to Michigan State. He's from East Lansing. Let's just go with that. Myself, I did not go to Michigan State, but I've been a lifelong Michigan State fan of all sports and all things Michigan State, and I love East Lansing. So it's kind of where we're coming from.
Yeah, so we've had this little thing. We've been friends for a long time, but Sleepers Media has been the company, the brand for a few years now. We've been doing the Sleepers podcast, which basically is a college basketball podcast with a little bit of entertainment value, talking some gambling, bringing some guests on. You can check out the Sleepers podcast, of course, anywhere podcasts are available, and at Sleepers Media on the YouTube channel. But we're expanding, folks. We're on the Field of 68 Network. Unscripted is the name of this show. It will be hosted by yours truly and my good friend Cart, aka the Sleepers, and we're going to be looking to deliver the best Michigan State basketball coverage you can possibly find on the internet. And that's why for episode 1, we brought in the biggest name, the biggest commitment that Michigan State has had in the last few months, Jaxon Kohler. And Cart, I have to just say, he was an incredible interview.
He was. And, right when you told me that Jaxon responded to DM and said he'd be happy to come on the show, I was very hyped. And, talking to him for this little bit that we just did, it just makes me even more excited to get him on campus. We talked his game. We talked high school. We talked recruitment. We talked the Spartan Dog Week, which I'm pretty sure everyone's interested about hearing about because we see all the social media pictures, but we weren't actually a part of it. So this was a great interview. Jackson's a great kid, and it's going to be basically Spartan Nation is going to be even more excited after listening to this interview. So it went beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. And I kind of said this at the end of the call. I don't want to say I was skeptical of the fit because I think Jaxon Kohler is an incredible prospect. Anybody who's asked me, like, what do you think of his game? I'm like, watch the film. His game speaks for itself. This man has a lot in his game and in his arsenal in the low post, and he has a lot more. He can step outside. He can pass. He's really as complete of an offensive package as you can find at the high school level of an incoming recruit. However, I was a little skeptical of the fit with Michigan State just because you don't typically see a player of his foundational skill sets at center at Michigan State. They do have low post guys who they throw the ball into and can go get a bucket, but they definitely are more, in my mind, of the defensive type foundation in the low post. They're going to dominate the boards, the athletic, the physical specimen types, which to me, off what I saw prior to this call, are not Jaxon Kohler. But what flipped it for me just from this conversation, he has the mentality that every great Michigan State Spartan basketball player from the last 2 decades has had. And that shines through even from a 20-minute conversation that we just had with him. It's incredible.
That truly incredible. And that you really just said it all right there. Like, he's got it on the court, but also between the eyes, up here between the ears. My man's got that mindset. So I'm fired up, honestly. I was fired up when he committed, but now, like, even more so. I'm just like, I'm way too hyped.
Carter, what should the listeners expect from the Unscripted podcast going forward? What are we going to bring them?
We're going to bring energy. I know that for sure. We're going to bring energy. We're going to bring in-depth analysis with a little bit of entertainment on top. I promise you, on my mother, I have never, ever put out a boring podcast, and I don't plan on doing it in the future. So you're going to have great content. You're going to have entertainment. You're going to have this pretty face. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good.
Hey, when it comes to the sleepers, and now when it comes to Unscripted, what it really is, folks, it's the Carter Elliott Show with a little bit of G sprinkled in. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to continue that. So please like, subscribe, share all of this for us. The Field of 68 Network, everything. They're doing great coverage on. And then Sleepers Media as well. You can find us everywhere on social and everywhere across the internet. We'll be doing this stuff on a weekly basis going forward throughout the college basketball season. And without further ado, Cart, let's bring the people Jaxon Kohler. All right, this is the first episode of Unscripted, the Field of 68's Michigan State basketball podcast, and we had to bring in the big guns. We had to get a guest people would be excited about, and we went no further than straight to the source of the latest and greatest Spartan commit, Mr. Jaxon Kohler. He was very gracious to jump on. We had a couple little Wi-Fi issues this week, so it's a couple days after we originally planned, but we're making it work, and he's here in the room himself. Jaxon, thank you so much for being here, man.
No, of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Hey, the first ever guest on the Unscripted podcast. You will always be able to have that. Hopefully this episode takes off, so you can be proud of it. But you are the first ever guest on the Unscripted podcast. So appreciate you again coming and taking some time to talk to us.
We were just saying right before we clicked record here, Jaxon is Mr. Worldwide, and we'll get into that, but he's traveling all over. Basketball's taking him all across the country, but he's going to have to learn what it's like to live in the state of Michigan during professional sports season, because the Detroit Lions keep inventing new ways to lose. And I give you credit, Carter. I give you credit for being here after witnessing that catastrophe in person today.
I got to put a positive spin on it. I saw NFL history today. I saw the longest field goal kick ever in the game. So blessed to be a part of history.
What a positive spin. I love it.
I guess so, man. I guess so.
See what you have to look forward to, Jaxon. It's just incredible. All right, Jaxon, let's start by talking about just your recruitment in general, because as someone who follows Michigan State basketball, I think a lot of Michigan State fans were a little bit nervous about where this recruiting class in your class was headed for the Spartan program. And honestly, you kind of came about very quickly. You were a name that rose up as soon as we saw you were offered. There was a lot of buzz from the fan base. There was a lot of quick, catching up to speed on who you are. And from the outside looking in, it seemed like your recruitment either heated up really fast and got very serious, or really just took off. And then, a couple weeks later, you were a Michigan State commit. So can you just talk to us about what building that relationship with Tom Izzo and the coaching staff was like, and sort of how it came about?
Yeah, for sure. The recruitment kind of, after Peach Jam and the Pangos event, it all just kind of blew up. So it was kind of like recruitment was going at a certain pace, before the summer, beginning of summer. And then once EYBL, Peach Jam hit, it all just kind of blew up. And it was just kind of a lot in a short amount of time. I got to start talking to Coach Monty at the beginning of EYBL. And he said, he'd keep an eye on me, I was the moment that I heard Michigan State was, going to keep an eye on me, I was like, oh, shoot. Really excited. That's always been a program that I've always been a huge fan of. Going back to Zach Randolph, I've always been a huge fan of, Spartan Nation. So I made sure to, keep my best games going ever since then. And then it wasn't until I think it was before the Pangos event in September. I think I'm starting to get these dates mixed up. It wasn't Pangos event in September where I had a 50-point game, a 56-point game and 23 rebounds. It wasn't until then that I started talking to, you know, Coach Izzo a lot. It wasn't like I talked to Coach Monty a lot, and then right before that event, I talked to Coach Izzo, and then they offered me the scholarship, and so I think the scholarship from Michigan State was the key to, you know, getting a huge 50-point game. I think it was that little like Izzo vibe, you know, Spartan vibe, you know, that got me that huge point difference. So and then we've just been talking a bunch, you know, ever since then. We had a Zoom call, you know, I think like the week after that, and they were saying like it's you know, it's like our like it's our opening game, you know, for Michigan State football. We have people coming back, like old basketball players, you know, that used to be part of this program. And we would love to have you come down for a visit. And they really pushed it. And when you get a chance to go on a Michigan State visit, you do not turn that down. So I got so excited. I was like, bro, you don't even have to tell, like, you don't have to tell me twice. I'm already getting the plane ticket. I'm getting all this stuff figured out right now.
Yeah, man. I think that, you know, you kind of spoke to it. It feels like after that kind of game that you had at Pangos, things just moved very quickly. You know, Izzo and started the buzz kind of started getting around of like getting you on campus. And, you know, just speaking to that Spartan Dog Week thing, I mean, it just seemed like the atmosphere was crazy there. Like they had all the former players back. You got to, you know, do practice, open gym. I saw the flicks that you got to take on the gram. You know, you had the nice little white, nice threads on. So I was like, okay, we're putting the full court press on Jaxon here. I like our energy, and I had a good feeling about it. But just kind of talk a bit more about kind of being around like the Spartan family, because I know it's something that Izzo always talks about. You know, you're always welcome to come back, Spartan family, all this, and like that week and that kind of weekend just kind of really seemed to encapsulate that. So talk a little bit more about being around those like former Michigan State players and just being on campus in East Lansing.
Yeah, no, there's something like definitely special about, you know, the relationship that coach has with its current players, but not only with the current players, but with the old players. Like the biggest thing that like stood out to me in that whole visit was their relationship with each other. And with like, I really want to play with someone. I want to play for someone, you know, that really cares about me, you know, not just as a basketball player, but like as a person, and like who, you know, I can talk to and laugh with and like have a good time with off the court. And Coach Izzo definitely showed that to me, and all the players showed that to me and told me about it. And like being a part of that like general vibe was something really special. I felt right at home, you know, like when they, you know, took me to the football game. Like, you know, we had such a great time together. Like when we would just go hang out, like go to dinner, they were so awesome to me. And like, they have that welcoming kind of spirit, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And, you know, that I feel like that week, though you said the Pangos game was kind of a turning point, I feel like that week just kind of getting you around, you know, Spartan Nation and seeing it. And I mean, I know there's just a lot of good buzz going on right now, and you're kind of part of that buzz. I mean, the Michigan State football team's doing really well. Big win last night. We're 4-0 now. We got, you know, a commit from you. We're starting to pick up a couple other commits in your class as well. So things are going really well right now for the green and white, and that, you know, that makes me real happy.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy to be a part of it. Like, I'm so happy that I get to be, you know, a part of that.
So you mentioned Zach Randolph, which first of all, I have to give you credit because I was not expecting you to necessarily go all the way back to the Zach Randolph era and throw out someone that you admired the game of. You know, I wouldn't have blamed you if you picked somebody from just a couple years ago. I mean, obviously the program's had a lot of ongoing success. So that speaks to me that you really, one, know your college basketball and have been paying attention for a long time. And two, you actually have kept a little eye on the Michigan State Spartan program. So I guess tell me, like, through the years, obviously, I'm sure you're a college basketball fan. You've seen just the success of the program. But what else does that program mean to you from before you were even talking to the coaches? Like, what do you associate with Michigan State just from a fan growing up?
I knew from a fan growing up, the thing that kind of stood out to me the most was how kind of cool and like the swag and how confident and like how cool they are, like
dogs.
Kind of like they just have swag, like they clap in people's faces. I think Braylon Greene is like a perfect example of that, where he plays tough, he plays hard, he claps in people's faces, doesn't take any crap. I think like growing up, I kind of tried to be someone with that kind of swag playing on the court, like obviously some people weren't a fan of that kind of swag, but I've always loved the swag, and I also know that Coach Izzo is one of those like legendary kind of coaches, like iconic names, in college history, like college basketball history. And I've known they had a great coach, for so many years. And then the fact that they make it to Final Fours, more than anyone, like those were things that I was definitely knew. And then, the fact that they're a part of the Big Ten, which is like my kind of pace, my kind of game, play through the big man, play out. So everything about Michigan State just like felt right to me. Like it just felt perfect to me.
I think I can already tell you're going to be a great fit when the first thing you say is swagger and you're talking about just that dog mentality. And then now, I mean, straight to the Big Ten, when Carter and I literally recorded an episode last week, realizing 5 of the best 7 players in the country this year are Big Ten post players. So it's a perfect time for a man with the post repertoire that you have to be entering this conference, as some of those guys who have now turned it into production are going to take that next step and go to the NBA. You're coming in at just the perfect time.
Yeah, it's like the game is starting to look at the big men now. Like they're starting to like come back to the big men a little bit. I think if there's something you have to know about me, I love basketball history. Like I watch more like hardwood classic games than I do the way that the 90s used their big men. Like if you look on any team back in the 90s, they always had a big man, like Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal, Dikembe Mutombo, like they all had big men, and those were people I love to watch. And now it's starting to come, basketball's starting to, focus on big men nowadays too, like Jokic, Embiid, Luka Garza, like all these big player, like big men players.
Definitely. Hey, Jackson is leading the movement of not letting the big man die. It'll live. Hey, they're trying to get rid of us, but it's not going to happen. The big man will live on.
That's right. Like I feel like coming in at the perfect time. Like I'm so blessed to be coming in at the perfect time because, they're starting to look at the big man, and I'm hoping that I can just kind of like capitalize, like that people need the big man in this game.
So let me interrupt this because while we're giving a lot of love to the big man right now, and I know Carter Elliott Jackson, just so you know, he's a big man himself. He's 6'8". He played Division II college basketball in the state of Michigan here.
Division III, respectively.
Division III. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm really trying to gas you up right now.
Oh,
but listen, from what I know from playing with Carter Elliott, just even in the pickup games I've played with him, I've been begging that man to take his butt down and sit in the paint with his back to the basket and score, because he's good at that. But he's out here wanting to play a little point guard, wanting to stay on the perimeter. So I got to ask you, Jackson, I've seen the film. I know what you can do on the floor. You can do a lot on the floor. But are you, like you just named a bunch of really versatile players. Give me the Jaxon Kohler breakdown of Jaxon Kohler's game.
So I'm glad you asked that. Like, so the breakdown of my game is, first of all, Jaxon Kohler has the footwork of Hakeem Olajuwon.
Ooh, okay, I like it.
Or Kevin McHale. People may not know who they are, but Hakeem Olajuwon, is probably the greatest center of all time. With his back to the basket moves and his footwork. Incredible to watch. And then I also have rebounding ability like Kevin Love.
Wow.
And Zach Randolph. And just being tough and just bully ball, under the basket when it comes to rebounds, just be tough, physical, mean, somewhat like Zach Randolph or Kevin Love. I have the ability to pick and pop like Jokic or Porzingis, pick and pop shoot from the three. I am developing my mid-range game and like get to the basket kind of game right now. And I am also a good passer, but I'm working on becoming a great passer like Jokic. So with like the ability to see the floor like Jokic.
Okay, I like it. Hey, first of all, that's a hell of a scouting report. I like that energy. And also, we cannot leave out, for anyone who hasn't actually watched Jaxon play, he is also a member of, when he gives someone a basket, he's gonna let them know that he just scored on them. Because I've seen a couple games, I've seen a couple highlights, and I see you getting buckets, and you go right to the clap in the face. And I like the energy.
And Jaxon Kohler has the Michigan State swag.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting in their ear a little bit, and kind of giving it to them, just being like, "Holy crap! Do you think if I could do that move again, you think you would be able to guard me?" Like,
yes, sir. Gotta let them know.
And then I think one of the biggest things that define me is like how hard I work on the court too. Like how like every play is 100%. Nothing less. If anything, try to give more than 100%. Give 120%. I run the floor every play. Try to be the first one down there. Whether I get the rebound and outlet it, I'm the first one down there, or just trying to get back on defense. I'm always trying to sprint the floor as fast as I can. Give 100% until the game's over, until the scoreboard says that we won. And just try to work your hardest until you can go sit the bench and then relax a little bit and then come right back in.
Music to my ears. I'm loving
it. I can see why the staff fell in love with you. You're talking about running the floor. You're talking about sitting down in the post. You're doing everything.
That's a coach's dream right there. Any big man saying that.
That's impressive. So, okay, I have a very pointed, simple question for you, because all the scouting reports I've read have different answers on this. Some are saying you're a true 5. Some are saying you can be a hybrid 5/4. I've seen different heights listed. I've seen you're anywhere from 6'7" to 6'11". So just tell us, how tall are you?
I am 6'10". I am 225 pounds. I am a stretch 4, stretch 5, or like stretch 5. I can play 5. I can play the 5 spot. I've grown up playing the 5 spot. I can be a stretch 4. Honestly, I'll be whatever Coach Izzo wants me to be. I'll be freaking good at it. But I don't know where some people are getting 6'7". I have no idea where that's coming from. I literally, my eyes are past the 6'7" mark when I measure myself. Like, I don't know who's saying that, but
hey, now we have it on record.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. We have it on record. You heard it from the man himself. So cut all the 6'7" talk. That's none of that.
Yeah, whoever says 6'7", yeah, I'll say a 6'7", but then you see me in person, I'll be 6'10", and then I'll play. And then anytime anyone asks me how tall I am, I just say I play like I'm 7 foot, or I play like I'm 6'11".
I love that answer. And I've been telling Cart he's 3 inches smaller than he actually is since I've known him. So,
Jaxon knows this, because sometimes when they get the media guide, they give you like an inch or two,
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Sometimes they give you an inch or two.
When they say I'm 6'11", I'll be like, okay, I'll go with it. Yeah.
Right. Just round it up one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, just actually going back to your commitment week, first of all, there's a lot going on. All the congratulations are in order. You get asked to be on this podcast, and then you're getting tweets from LeBron James. Just like tell me kind of like how that feels. Obviously, I'm aware that, you play AAU with Bronny, the Strive for Greatness team. The media attention around you guys, it's like, I can't believe these guys are even, just high schoolers. Like, I mean, they've been following you guys since you were like 14, 15 years old, and the media attention is crazy. Just kind of talk about, that experience. I see LeBron's around the team a lot. I'm sure he's talked to you before. Just kind of talk about that and the presence that he kind of has on you.
Man, that like you're not lying. The media has been crazy with that whole squad. It's kind of every kid's dream, to have that media presence and like that much publicity around you. Strive for Greatness was definitely an experience that I'll never forget. It's like once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, until you make it to the NBA. But like being around those kids and being around LeBron, it was like, it kind of felt like a payoff in a way. Like all the hard work, finally gets to pay off. But then again, it's kind of like, okay, you're on a team with, sponsored by LeBron James, best basketball player in the league. You have all these media guys looking at you, 24/7. It kind of paints a target on your back a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want. Like some people don't want that. And in my opinion, that's bad. You should want like as many targets as you can so it can prepare you, for what's to come. Because when you come in as a freshman and you have like a repetition, all the guys that are, at Michigan State, they're like, oh, we want him, but now I committed. They're like, okay, now I'm going to go kick his butt in practice. And, it's going to be good. But when you're on that SFG team, it really teaches you how to play under pressure. It teaches you how to like mentally prepare for targets on your back and for all the trash talking and like all the media coverages, cameras everywhere, people screaming, like you suck or go against you or like screaming good things. Like that was definitely an experience that I know not a lot of people have or like get to, have, but I'm so thankful for every minute of it.
Yeah, I think it honestly worked. Just me speaking personally from the outside looking in, I think it worked amazing for you because, you had that exposure, and even if it came to, maybe there was people tuning into these games to watch somebody else, but once they saw that game, they left saying like, "Who's that big man on Strive for Greatness with that crazy ass footwork that's just getting buckets and he's getting all the boards and doing all these stuff on the court?" Like, damn, because that was literally the first thing I said. I'm pretty sure everyone says that. Like, I'm like, I can't believe this kid is 16 years old. This footwork is just like, I've never been able to have that type of footwork ever. And a lot of kids never get to that point. So I think it was great for you just to get that exposure. And I think a lot of people came away from watching those games like, damn, that Jaxon Kohler kid can play.
It definitely, it was, being on a team, with like, especially my first year with SFG, with being on a team with like Sky, Dior, Bron, I might have not been, like the first choice that everyone wanted to go see, but I just wanted to make sure that I could like quietly do my work, and people would start to recognize me. And it didn't bother me so much that, like people weren't like saying like Jaxon Kohler is like like a great player on SFG. Like, I feel like, like the people, like the most important people are going to know like who I am, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but like you said,
and I know your teammates love playing with you, so that's all that really mattered, honestly.
To the point of people are going to love playing with you, or people that you do play with, obviously there's a positive effect. There's one name that I've heard there's a connection to you, Braylon Greene, who just so happened to be in East Lansing this weekend. I was actually in East Lansing myself, attending the Nebraska game. I heard the ovation he got. I know the Spartan fans were giving him some love. Talk about Braylon and we got to try to get him East Lansing. Are you going to put some work in for us?
Bro, of course, dude. We need that guy. Like Braylon, I've known him for like a month and a half now. He goes to SEA, where I'm currently at high school. He is a really good dude, and he's a really tough player. Like he's one of the top guys in the 23 class without a doubt. If we could, I keep thinking, if we could get him at Michigan State, it would be it would be really tough. You know, like unfortunately right now he won't be able to start our season out because he has some shoulder issues, but he'll probably start in like December. But I know that if he comes on the team, he's going to be a great addition. And you know, I'm always saying, you know, giving him a nudge, you know, showing him my Michigan State shirt and all that stuff. So.
Oh yeah, hey, every road trip this year, Jackson. I know y'all do. So I know y'all probably got the national schedule. Whenever you got the hotel room, you know, kind of connections, be like, go ahead and throw Braylon in my room, sit next to him on the bus. You know, just throw a little bug in his ear.
By the time this year ends, he's gonna be my best friend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, I have just a couple questions left here, but this one, I think our listeners are really going to be curious to hear your answer on this. So, someone from the West Coast, someone who's been all across the country, you may not know a ton about this, but with your answers on how much you love college basketball and you know just the game itself, I think you probably will have some thoughts on this. The Michigan State rivalry is one of the most heated rivalries there possibly is across the country, across sports in general. I saw some rankings came out across just Twitter last week of the best rivalries in college basketball. And it was the first time I've seen in years, Michigan and Michigan State fans coming together saying, this is too low. Why are we not on this list? Why are we not number 1 or number 2 on this list? So there's been so many chapters of this. I think the rivalry really right now is as strong as it has ever been. What's your perception of the Michigan State rivalry and just Michigan as a rival school in general?
Man, I've always known about the Michigan State rivalry. I've known it, you know, I haven't been to Michigan or Michigan State or in the past. So I wasn't able to like give an answer on like how much, you know, how much it gets heated. But I can definitely say, cause I'm from Utah. So in college football and basketball, you know, Utah and BYU are kind of rivals. So I kind of know what it's like to be in one state with 2 teams, and it gets pretty heated. So I can only imagine how way more heated it gets at Michigan and Michigan State. So I can't wait to be, you know, part of that rivalry. I can't wait for the game, you know, where it's Michigan and Michigan State in basketball when I'm there. That's gonna be a really fun game.
Yeah, you're gonna be perfect for that game because you're gonna be able to feed off the energy. And I'll let you know right now, the Michigan fans, they're not gonna be fans of you. It's not gonna be good. I'll let you know right now.
Yeah, no. I am expecting that. I can't wait for it. No, like sometimes, like the other team's fans, you know, get me going. So like they're only fueling my fire.
Definitely love that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring you back on in a couple of years if you don't mind. I'm curious to see how that answer changes, because the former players we've talked to, we get a wide variety of ways they answer that question. I have a feeling you'll end up with your own stories from that. So we'll talk in a couple of years and get you back on the podcast. All right, my last question for you. So Spartan Dog Week again looked like such a cool experience for alums like me to see all those dudes that, you know, I was in the zone for watching, like a Jaren Jackson and all those guys that were in the gym. Denzel Valentine. Those are guys that I grew up and I have my own stories and memories of seeing them in the green and white. I also have to imagine that with all those guys back on campus and in the gym, there had to have been some pretty high level basketball being played either in that practice gym or somewhere with no cameras involved. Did you get a chance to play at all when these guys were there, or did you at least get to see any games being played?
Oh man, so we planned on me playing in those games, but there was kind of like a delay with me getting on campus at the right time. So unfortunately, I missed the game. Like right as the game ended, like 30 minutes later, I showed up.
Oh, that's
so then
tough.
I was kind of going to the players, kind of begging that tomorrow they would show up too. But then they're, nah, it's okay. It's okay, you know. So I got to play with like the, you know, today's players, like to, you know, with the team he has now. But I got to see, you know, Draymond, Valentine, Jaxon. Like I got to see all those guys, you know, at the football game and like just hang out around campus. But I wish I would have been a part of that game. That would have been fun to be a part of.
Definitely some high level basketball. Well, you know, I don't want to keep you too long, Jaxon. We appreciate you taking the time out, you know, to kind of tell us about Spartan Week and just kind of tell us about your game. I know, speaking personally as a Michigan State fan, I'm very excited. Spartan Nation is very excited to have you. You know, we're going to have welcoming arms when you come to campus, and we can't wait to see you play. Do you have any kind of final thoughts you want to say, or anything on your mind you want to say to the people?
This is for all the Michigan State fans, man. I'm ready to give everything I got to you guys. I'm ready to, you know, every game, give it my all, give it to all you guys, and go green, go white.
Love it, man. He's already been committed for 2 weeks. He's already go green, go white, the swagger, the Spartan dog. You're ready, man. I ain't worried.
If I didn't think it before this conversation, there's just no question you're the perfect fit. Like this is gonna be a
that's what I felt too. Like the moment like I got done, like through that whole visit, I'm just like, I really see myself here. I just had to. The only reason why I didn't commit on campus was I just had to make sure. You know, and I never lost that feeling. I never lost the feeling of like, I need to get a part of this program. I need to be a part of this program. So I can't, like, it's just like, you know, hopefully most likely I'm going to be coming back to campus really soon. Can't wait to, you know, come back to, you know, like family now. So can't wait to come back. Can't wait to see everyone else again. And just can't wait.
100%. You made a ton of Spartan fans happy with the news. And like you said, you made relationships that'll end up being family for life. So again, congratulations. Thank you so much for being the first guest of the Unscripted Michigan State podcast. And I'm gonna slide in some messages to you on the side, Jaxon. I want to send you some gear here. I know we got you in the dog shirt, we got you in the Michigan State shirt. We're gonna have to throw you a little sleeper shirt as well for Carter and I, because I need you bringing that out west. I need you pulling up to the gyms, letting
for sure.
Know, so
for sure, man.
Appreciate you, Jaxon.
No, thank you guys. Thank you for having me. This has been, to be the first one on the show, man. This is truly a blessing.